In 2020, a new manga appeared in Weekly Shonen Jump, a national treasure that has been enjoyed by people across the entire world. Its name, Me and Roboco. The story of Me and Roboco takes place in the year 20XX, an era where robot order mates are all the rage. The plot of Me and Roboco follows a boy named Bondo and his order mate Roboco, who may or may not be a military level weapon. Initially, Bondo is not happy with Roboco as his order mate, since he had an ideal image of an order mate in his head that Roboco doesn't fit. But how can you hate someone that tries their best for you, even if they don't meet your expectations? That is that shonen goodness you need in your life. The story follows the pair's growing trust for each other as their bond grows stronger, as well as following Bondo's various friends who get their own storylines. The genre of the manga is usually just wholesome slice of life stuff with a lot of comedy, but there is plenty of room for crazy sci-fi and paranormal stuff to happen. There are also occasional Shonen Jump parodies, as the author has a big appreciation for his many series, which is most obvious in the volume covers he does. To write a proper parody manga, you need to understand what makes the original good, which leads to this author being great at understanding the core values of Shonen Jump: friendship, effort, and victory. Me and Roboco is the least cynical manga ever. Instead of fighting an evil bad guy, in this series, the characters struggle with how to best convey their love for each other. For example, in a chapter Roboco doesn't know how to play volleyball, but she still does her best during the match to help Mom's team win. Or in another chapter you get Bondo going on a date with a girl without realizing it, but his courage and effort get rewarded nonetheless. Each chapter contains a single self-contained story. There not being any large story arcs makes the manga an easy and fulfilling read, as each chapter will have an ending to the plot it follows, making you feel satisfied with every chapter you read, and craving for more. As such, there's not really a standard formula for the chapters. A lot of different things happen in this manga, keeping each chapter fresh and exciting. In one chapter they fight a bear, in another chapter there's a rock paper scissors tournament for the last cup of pudding, or you get a chapter where Bondo and Roboco are trying to get the perfect birthday together for their mother. It's perfectly wholesome. The story being episodic does not mean that there is no continuity, as there most definitely is an overarching narrative when it comes to the progression of Roboco finding the family she never was able to have, the many bonds that are formed by Bondo, and the blossoming romances, advancing manga careers, etc, etc. There's an antagonistic force in the story too, but I won't spoil too much about them. A big strength of this manga is the characters, with its main duo, Bondo and Roboco, being especially fun to watch. Bondo is a small kid with a big heart. He's the type of main character that inspires the people around him. His boundless optimism and his ability to fully accept others for who they are after he meets Roboco don't just have an impact on the people around him, but also on the reader, whose heart gets warmed whenever Bondo protects those that are misunderstood by others. Also, he's a big dweeb, which makes it fun to see how he reacts to all the wacky individuals in his life, especially Roboco. Roboco herself can be described as a black hole of insecurity that craves for validation of others. Very relatable. However, this motivation does not leave her rewardless, as she is incredibly popular with everyone who encounters her, just like in real life. Roboco is the big sister you wished for as a kid. She's caring and nurturing, but she's also a giant klutz. She tries her hardest, however, and this is what makes the story so uplifting. Roboco also has a hidden past that slowly gets revealed over the course of the story. That's fun. Even though Roboco is a little off, her efforts get appreciated, and sometimes her plans work out in a successful way that nobody expects. Even when you fail to meet certain standards, that doesn't mean you don't have any worth. It is what is inside that truly matters. Don't judge a book by its cover. And the same goes for two of my favorite characters in the story. An exemplary pair of bullies that are known as Gachigorilla and Motsuo. These two rascals slash best friends of Bondo are the most wholesome pair there is, acting like intimidating bad guys while their actions are so generous and maniacal they would be looked up to by Gandhi. Gorilla is a strong big brother who always puts himself in second place for the sake of others. A truly inspiring role model. His best friend Rich Kid Motsuo has his own storyline of having to stay at the top of his class or else his father will send him to a more sophisticated school, meaning he'd have to leave his friends behind. He's an order mate called Meiko, who's the sweetest, most precious character in the entire series. Both of these guys love Bondo to death, and their friendship might be the most endearing part of the manga. Also, I just love the name Gachigorilla, it's funny. Gachigorilla. Then we have Madoka, the class idol and a very sweet girl. But she also has an extremely manly side to her, which she's completely unaware of. The boys love her, including Bondo. And she actually likes him back too, wowee! The romance blooms in the story and it is not only wholesome but also very cute. You can't help but root for them, especially since they are both trying their best to get each other's attention. A love story neither one-sided nor beating around the bush. Great! There are a couple more recurring characters like Bondo's mom who always walks around with a knife, and a bunch of other friends of Bondo and the gang, but those are for you to meet. If you want to read a fun, lighthearted story showcasing the compassion of humanity, read Me and Roboco. There's also an anime which crams the manga chapters into 3 minutes of time, which I do not endorse, because they focus too much on the jokes and not on the heart. 3 minutes is really not enough for 15 pages. All that's left to tell you is, start reading! The fast pacing will carry you along to the end of Volume 1 and then to the latest chapter. The manga releases in Jump every Sunday, should be available to read on the Manga Plus app worldwide and the Shonen Jump app in America. Be sure to like and leave a comment if this got you interested in the series, and bye bye!